evening, all you beautiful freaks out there. I am your guest host, Elle Snow, and welcome to the soap opera that is Frequels. Here with me, as always, your co-host. He's bold and beautiful, Rory Colrossi. How you doing, Rory?
Feeling bold and beautiful. How about you?
I'm good. And as always, our pod keeper, he's young and restless, young Vince. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. This is oh, what's going on?
What is happening over here?
What is happening?
And your beautiful host, I hope we'll be friends all the days of our lives, EJ Leeson. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for, taking my fucking job.
We didn't want to bring it up to you until we were on the air so that we can humiliate you.
No, I liked it.
But you've been replaced. You've been downgraded.
It's
You know
easier
what?
this way.
It is.
I actually really enjoyed that. It made me
I liked it.
Can you explain why you were crying?
I always have tears in my eyes.
But this seemed like it was coming from what we just did to you.
Yeah, it's mostly podcast trauma.
We said that so sincere. I wish people could have saw that.
Podcast trauma?
Were you thinking about the howling again?
Yeah, I was like, oh god, the marsupials. Why can't we just keep going with the howling?
I don't know. You know, it's funny. I think back to the days when we were reviewing movies like Psycho 2 and Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and then we hit the howling, and the show hasn't really been the same.
Right. I feel like that's Carmen's fault.
Yeah, so really, I feel like, Carmen, if you're listening right now, you broke Frequels.
Yeah.
You know what? It changes you.
It does.
It changes the way you look at life and the way you look at cinema.
I started chain smoking because of that movie.
I know.
I never smoked a cigarette a day in my life.
Yeah.
I'm smoking right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been drinking like crazy. Just started.
Yeah, just started.
I scored some crack off this guy named Dumbledore, and then he was like, you want to smoke this shit with me? I'm Dumbledore, the headmaster. And I was like, yeah, let's go. And so I went on this magical journey.
And did you both engage in child endangerment? Because that is a big Dumbledore thing.
That's his thing. That's
Yeah.
like his fave. Yeah.
He's like, don't go in there. That's the Forbidden Forest.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm just going in your shower. And he was like, no, don't go in there. There's something evil. And then when I opened it, it was just more crack.
Right.
Then he turned the camera on in the bathroom. He's like, now you can shower.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
EJ Leeson, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
I was like, oh, yes, I did. And then we just smoked crack all day. It was an awesome
That's what
time.
he calls the crack pipe, the
The
goblet,
Goblet
of
of
fire.
Fire.
Goblet of Fire is crack. That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh.
I felt like I was riding a broom all day. I was like, quit itch. Yeah.
Quidditch.
No, that's just what I got after I slept with him. Okay, so
I got the Quidditch.
I got the Quidditch. So let's.
Hey, what are we doing today? We're doing another episode of our really fun Halloween season Frequel reviews.
Yes, and this is like a movie that I absolutely loved as a kid, and I would
You
watch
wanted
it
to cover
all the
this.
time. I was like, I want to do this movie right now, and you're like, all right, put the gun away, I'll do it.
And then I was like, are you sure you want to cover this movie?
And I was like, yes, please.
I'm like, are you positive you've watched it recently?
And I was like, every year.
I'm like, let's do it. But it's on you.
Yes. But I am so pumped to do this movie. But before we get into the movie, is there any new movies you guys watched and loved or want to talk about?
I'll go. I saw Wolverine, and I saved it for this, and I'm calling it Wolverine because it's not a Deadpool movie, which Deadpool was fantastic in this, but it's definitely a Wolverine movie. All of the callbacks, I was so excited. Everything that you guys talked about week after week, not ruining it for me. Thank you, by the way, both
You're
of you.
welcome.
Awesome. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Fun movie.
Fun movie. Another movie that I caught, which was suggested to us by, I forget who it is called.
Matt Rinaldi.
The coffee
Mr.
table?
Rinaldi, The Coffee Table.
Matt Rinaldi.
Jesus, crackers, and rice, and my God, that movie is something to behold. So, yes, if you haven't seen it, go check out that movie.
I have to still watch it.
And all I have to say is, if you're a parent, this movie is ridiculous. I can't say more. I don't want to say more than that. If you don't check the premise of the movie, just go see this movie.
It's really exciting because I guess the coffee table, it's actually in the running right now for best supporting coffee table.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of good coffee tables out there.
There's some really strong candidates this year, but
remember
they're saying
Kramer's? Kramer's was really good.
Really good one. But this one, they say it's breaking new
it's
grounds.
out there. Yeah, it's fantastic.
As far as performing coffee tables go.
Let me ask you about Wolverine. When through all the different universes, like the different Wolverines, which one was your favorite?
I liked the super short one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little muscle bound. He was my favorite. Yeah. I like that. And
I'm
Baby
blind,
Knife. And
so
Baby
I didn't
Knife.
see
I can't stop saying Baby Knife at the house. Baby Knife.
Baby Knife.
Baby
I
Knife.
love that.
It's
I love
good.
that.
Yeah.
It's
You
so
take
good.
I take little things away from. Like I'm going to say that from now on. I like it.
Yeah, I love it.
How about anybody else? Anybody
Yeah.
else see anything cool?
Not in theaters, but I've purchased a bunch of DVDs from different conventions I've been to, so I'm finally getting to catch up on all those.
A digital video disc.
Yes.
Nice.
I got Martin, which was recommended to me by Rory in our Dracula podcast.
I love Martin Lawrence. Wait. Oh,
The George
okay,
Romero film.
The very same.
Oh.
I thought it was the 90s
I
show.
thought it was the
Yeah.
Martin.
yeah.
Yeah. Gina. Yeah.
The limited fake.
I also got this fantastic movie.
Did you like Martin?
I loved it. I loved it.
That's all I want to say.
I got this fantastic movie from 1985 called The Midnight Hour, and it stars Sherry Belafonte, Harry Belafonte's daughter, and LeVar Burton. And it's a bunch of kids who end up accidentally waking up the dead, and it is a ridiculous movie, but it's so fun, and the soundtrack slaps, and there's a dance number, and I feel like they just watched the music video for Thriller, and we're like, we need to do that. We want to do that, but a movie. And then
Next on Freak.
Yeah.
there's
I was gonna
Let's
say
do it.
I was gonna say, isn't there hints of that in this?
A little
a
bit.
little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. But they actually got some of the effects artists from Thriller to work on this movie. So
Really?
it's it's a fun little thing because it's like made for TV, so it's not scary, and it's like.
Did they dance to Butterfly in the Sky? I could go twice as high. Just take a look. It's in a book. A reading rainbow.
Reading Rainbow.
No, the song is actually called "Get Dead," and Sherry Belafonte sings it.
Oh, so
but-
same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
I sent it to my niece, and she's in full Halloween mode right now. So my sister's actually mad at me currently because she won't stop playing the song. She's just playing it on repeat.
There you go.
I like it. I like it a lot.
That's an aunt's job to torture. Yeah.
And the last film I got was a film called Dracula Sucks. And
Do go on.
I was looking to see what this movie's about, so I flipped it over, and I just saw Rated X, and I'm like, oh, this is an adult movie.
Ah.
And the guy, when I was purchasing it, he's like, you know this is an adult film, right? I'm like, yeah, that's why I am this core audience. I like vampires, and do you have any more of these? And he did not. But,
Yes, come to my van. All right.
but
So
yeah.
as far as Dracula pornos go, it's up there.
It's of all the one Dracula porno I've seen, this is the best.
All right, let me write this down. What is this called again?
Dracula
Dracula
sucks.
Dracula sucks. Wow, I think I
Yeah.
can wonder what happens here.
I will just say the actors who played Dracula.
Oh, you got
and
notes?
Renfield sound like Bela Lugosi and Dwight Frye. Like they really tried to imitate the voice.
Master,
Yeah.
beating now.
Except it sounded more like.
I like to suck your dick.
All right, right off the rails. Good, perfect.
Sorry.
Spoilers, EJ.
Oh, my bad.
No, they know it's coming.
Yeah.
I have like another 5 minutes worth of things to say, but I'm editing myself right here.
We can talk later.
We can talk later.
Hard edit.
Hard edit.
So hard.
Hard edit.
Oh,
So hard.
what a pun.
Robbing edits.
Robbing edit.
How about you, Rory? Have you seen it?
That's our next T-shirt. Throbbing edits.
Robbing edit.
So, I had Becca watch a couple of movies she had not seen but needed to see.
Like what?
We watched Taxi Driver. She had
Okay.
never seen Taxi Driver.
Such
and
a
it's-
great movie.
Yeah, just one of the greatest.
Robert De Niro is so good.
Yeah,
I
man.
love when he doesn't understand that a
You shouldn't
porno
take-
movie
yeah,
actually
there we go.
is
A bad date.
Yeah, he's like, I thought this is how it works, a dinner and a movie, and he takes her to like a porno movie. And she's like, no.
Yeah. This is not normal.
Yeah.
I had her watch The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh my god.
Shit.
Wait, she's never seen Shawshank?
Now she has.
It truly was a Shawshank Redemption.
Wait,
was-
can we not do the podcast and can we just call Becca and ask her how she thought about what she
Yeah,
thought
we'll-
about
we'll
Shawshank?
Bring her in live. Yeah, we watched that, and that's one of those movies that I could watch a billion times, and it's always just as powerful and hits me right
I'm
in the
dying
heart.
to know what did she think of it?
Oh, of course you loved it.
She was like, yeah.
How can you not?
Yeah.
love
She's like, I better get busy living.
it? Yeah. Or get busy dying. So
And the Dufresne.
crawl through a river of shit, only
Only
to come out clean on the other side.
Can we
that
just
just
not
happened.
do the podcast and I could just spend the next hour listening to you guys do impressions from this movie? That would make my day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We also watched another classic, probably the most profound movie ever made, Land Before Time 6.
Oh, part 6?
Part 6. Yeah, we're getting through the
That's
series.
the one that it really broke through.
It did.
Yeah.
It had the lone dinosaur.
It had the most to say.
Yeah.
Wait.
There's actually a Taxi Driver reference in that movie, which is really funny.
It's like, you looking at me?
Because
You
he
looking
does
at
it.
me?
Littlefoot does that. And I
then
started
a
laughing.
comet comes
Trying
and
to
hits
eat
it.
that-
That's the reason. Yeah. You looking at me, Comet? No, that's actually the reason we watched Taxi Driver, because we're watching The Land Before Time 6, and I started laughing. And I was just like, why is there a reference to Taxi Driver in this kid's movie?
So
then we watched
Littlefoot tries to assassinate another presidential...
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And then he takes Sarah to a porno. And then really my favorite movie of the year I got to see is called The Substance.
Yes.
If you guys
Wait,
have,
I need to unpack this like childhood trauma. They made 6 Land Before Time.
there's 14.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
14.
Wow.
There's so many.
And the fact that you watched Land Before Time, which made you want to watch
Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver. Wow.
Cinema is a
It's a
mystery.
journey. Wow,
a
that's
journey.
fantastic. Okay, good. I'm sorry. I had to point that out.
It was a great journey, and that was a pun.
Really fast, I remember seeing Inside Out, and they made a reference to Chinatown.
And then you stopped.
In the movie Inside Out, in Chinatown, for people who don't know, is a movie about incest. And,
Spoilers.
Yeah, and it's gross, and in that sense, right? And I'm like, they just made a Chinatown reference in Inside Out? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite part.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So it's just hilarious that Land Before Time 6 is like, let's do a Taxi Driver reference.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird because it stopped me for a second where I'm like, that's amazing and shocking,
Yeah.
you know?
Speaking of weird, let's get back to this episode.
Yeah. But yeah, we saw I saw
The Substance.
We saw The Substance and went and saw it with friend of the show, Dave Gonzalez. And it is my favorite movie of the year. It's like that and Dune Part 2 are kind of wrestling right now, but the Substance is a legitimately great movie.
So after you were done watching it with him, did he give you a critique and did you feel like you were getting inside information?
No,
A little bit?
No, we just geeked out about it.
But
you know?
you guys, I'm sure you loved that.
What's
Talking
that?
about that with him.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean that's one of my favorite people to talk about movies with. 'Cause
Yeah.
the guy just it's what he does. He's a movie reviewer.
The
He's
movie
great at
is
it.
gross and disgusting, and I loved every single minute of it.
Dracula
Did you
sucks?
feel good or better about having watched Society first?
Yes.
Because there's a
Oh,
lot of Society,
Yeah.
you know,
it
or
really
at least
is.
the third act of it, anyways.
Oh, 100%.
But it's a layered movie though, and I didn't expect it to be so sad. That was the thing, because it
Yeah.
sort of seems like it's a horror film, but there's so many layers to that movie, and it just made me feel so sad, and then it made me feel really happy because of how it ends. So I'm like, oh, thank you for giving that to me, special effects artist.
I just have to talk about the opening. It's probably one of my favorite cinematic
Ever?
openings. It's you see a star being laid down on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and you just see how it over the years, people like walking over it. At first, it's like beautiful, and there's like a whole celebration about the star, and then you just see over time it starts to crack and kind of fade. But the movie is about that movie
People
star
walking on it,
and people dropping their food on it, and it's so cool. And the first probably 4 to 5 minutes is just the star.
It tells you everything you need to know about the star.
Yeah, and not only that, yeah, like, and it's just such a cool metaphor, right? I get, and like that it kind of plays out like the movie a little bit too. Like it kind of gives you like the groundwork of the movie in a weird sense.
And in a lot of ways, it's what the movie's about. But yeah, I don't want to say too much about it. Just go watch it. I can guarantee you that if you're in a theater with like say like 100 people, 50 of them are gonna really really love it, and 50 of them are gonna say, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
I think,
and you're all right.
Yeah, I think a majority of people. So I went to see it when it opened, and a majority of the people in the theater did not really care for it. And I was like, I came out like, wow, that was the greatest movie.
Were they like, that's no Beetlejuice?
I wish. No, they were like, what did I just watch? I can't believe I stayed all the way to the end. Like, that was literally what someone said.
That doesn't surprise me. I noticed that like really great movies, they're like a 1 or 5-star movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so like for the people that it works for, they're like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, and then they're just they tend to be polarizing. So it's like it's either the best or worst movie I've ever seen. I recommend watching it, and just don't read into it. Don't read anything about it. Just go watch it. It's an experience.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into why we're here today.
Talk about the movie we're talking about today. This is a movie I loved since I was a childhood. It is
Since you were a child?
Since I was a little child. And now I'm a big child.
Okay.
$1 million G.
Back when I was a childhood.
When I was a small G. Now I'm a big G.
You have to get old. You don't have to grow up.
Exactly. So I love this movie for the longest time, and it was Jim Carrey's first starring role, and he steals this movie. He's incredible.
You see little moments where he's like becoming Jim Carrey in this movie.
Oh yeah,
because it's like there's parts where he's just acting like teenage boy, and then sometimes it's like you see his eyebrows bouncing up and down. And
you see it.
His physicality is unmatched, man.
I had read that they originally wanted Michael J. Fox for this.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah,
I could see that.
I could see that, and I could see him probably doing like a great job, obviously. But there's something about Jim Carrey. Like, I feel like if Jim Carrey wasn't in this movie, I don't think we'd be talking about this right now. You know what I mean? I feel like this probably would have just disappeared.
Blip on the radar.
And the Ethra. Yeah. So
it's
today,
like a weird relationship I have with Jim Carrey, because like I and people look at me with like horror when I say this. I'm not a big fan of his comedies, which is always disappointing for people to hear, I guess. But I think he's like brilliant in them, like his physical acting is very.
He's one of the best physical comedians of our lifetime.
It's very Chaplin-esque.
Yes,
you know, there's like such a good grace to it.
Who he looks up to.
Yeah. That scene where like when they're dancing later on in the movie, like his movements are just so beautiful.
Yeah, like the amount of time that he probably spent rehearsing that, and then thinking like in his trailer, like, oh, maybe I could do this, or maybe this would be funny. And he's just over the top, but like perfect in every way. Because
his character is kind of an asshole, but he makes you 100%. Like him. Because it's just, you like Jim Carrey, but his character's like
Mark
not
Kendall
a good guy.
Is not the most likable person.
Yeah.
But it comes back around. You know what I mean? Like, at first you're like, this guy's like a jerk. Like, I'm not going to root for this guy.
He's endearing.
But he's so charming. It's endearing.
And that's all Jim Carrey.
And it's all Jim Carrey.
Somebody else could have read those same lines, and it would have just been like, oh.
Yeah, if you literally cast like one of the friends, like if Ross, the redheaded friend, was the lead in this movie, I don't think it would have worked.
No.
You know what I mean? But Jim Carrey is just you just see like everything's clicking.
There was no way he wasn't going to be a star.
Yeah, and then and other people, but let's get into this movie.
Yeah, let's get the fuck into this movie.
Have you guys, before we start, have you guys seen this movie before?
Yeah, what's the movie that we're talking about?
Today we're talking about Once Bitten.
Ace Ventura Pet. Wait, what?
Oh no!
Shit!
Uh-oh!
That was his first movie, right?
No, man. You know what? just pretend, just go with Ace Ventura
So-
and interject
but
when you think it
I was
feels like
gonna
an
say,
Ace movie.
And I guarantee everybody at this table has done this. When people, like, if someone brought up that Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was his first movie, I'm sure all four of us as snobs were like, well, actually, he was in Once Bitten way before. I'm sure everybody at this table has done that
As we,
once or
like,
twice.
push our
As you
glasses
push your
up, yeah.
glasses up
Push
to
them up.
Actually,
Actually.
And he was in Earth Girls Are Easy with Damon Wayans and Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis, okay? So that's true.
you can also see Jeff Goldblum briefly in the movie Annie Hall.
True. Yeah, he's at the party.
Glad I brought that out of you.
Yeah. So, anyways, today we're talking about the movie Once Bitten. And so let's get right into the breakdown. So the film opens on a house in the hills, and we meet Sebastian.
I love Sebastian. I'm going to say that
Sebastian
right now.
rocks.
He's my favorite character in this film.
Me too.
He's the chauffeur slash butler slash
He
daytime
almost
protector.
steals this movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
he does.
He definitely does.
Yeah. He.
I just want him to be like my best friend.
And it's played by Cleavon Little. And if you guys don't know, he's from Blazing Saddles, which is
Yes.
probably considered one of like the best comedies of all time. So he just brings it. Like he right from the start, you're like, oh, he's in this? Like hell yeah.
The opening to this movie is so comical with nothing being said. It's already delightful as soon as
The music.
the music is just it's
It's-
a vibe and it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does this make sense? Like the music kind of like it has like a nice peppy 80s sound, but there's like those little flourishes of something that you would hear in like a vampire movie.
Yeah.
Kind
Yes.
of creep in.
You know what I almost like compared it to was Beverly Hills Cop. The way that it was so like Beverly Hills Cop has a theme, the Axel F. Foley, whatever thing that rides through it. This thing was like whoever wrote this, they built it specifically for this movie, and everything fits perfect. Like
Yeah.
just the score, everything.
The score and all the songs within the movie itself, like the song by Three Speed, Once Bitten,
Yes.
when they're driving around, and of course like Maria later on at the dance, the school dance.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about that scene.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this movie starts off with Sebastian, and the music in this movie is like just incredible alone. Like, and this house looks awesome. Like it's probably like the coolest house I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
And it's not a one shot, but or what is it called? A runner? I forget what it's called. But just like a giant long shot, and he is perfection throughout every part of it. And it's just like I wonder how many. I was literally thinking like I wonder how many times he did this, and every time the director's like, "That's still good. That's awesome." Like just he crushed it. I love it. Yes.
So we find out that he is like the daytime protector for the Countess.
Well, it's called like a familiar.
A familiar. Yeah. Played,
Is he a vampire?
I don't think so.
I don't think he is.
So he's kind of like just.
If we're drawing parallels with vampire tropes, being like she's a countess instead of a count, then I feel like he would be the Renfield character.
That's okay.
Yes.
Because he does have like a very earnest devotion to her.
Yeah. I would say
But
that.
how does his life expectancy work? How long has he been with her?
For
Sounds like they've been
hundreds of
around. Well, he
years?
doesn't he say something that he's like I came out of the closet thousands
Thousands
of
of
years
years
ago
ago.
or something like that.
So if he's not a vampire, how is he living so long?
Well, I know like with familiars, like they're not like vampires, but they have some kind of power from their masters that allows them to.
Hey, we
He
didn't
hasn't
bring
gotten
a
into the
vampire
video.
expert in here
Yeah,
to
why don't I
listen
just
to
shut
you.
up? You go nuts.
Well-
Tell us about vampire porn.
When a vampire loves another vampire.
When one vampire loves another vampire.
Once smitten.
Each movie seems to have its own lore, depending on like what the rules are, what their banes are, like what repels a vampire, how to defeat them, what their powers are. This one doesn't really go into the specifics a lot. There's like, they do talk about some rules, which I'm sure EJ will get into when he talks about the scene more, but I feel like they don't give us enough information to determine what happened to Sebastian, because there's like things like Renfield where Dracula bites him and there's like a almost like mind control kind of thing, a sway over him. There's hypnotic powers that vampires have, like, but in games like Vampire the Masquerade if a human is fed vampire blood, it stops their aging. So
Yeah.
without the vampire biting them, it doesn't turn them. It just extends their life.
Sort of like
So-
like Billy Cole in Fright Night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it doesn't explain it in this movie. So I can't say for certainty what his deal is, but I love him and I'm just glad he's there.
I was
Me
going to
too.
say, Sebastian just seems like he wants to be there.
That's what I was gonna
Regardless,
say.
like,
you don't have
he's
to
just-
sway that guy.
He's like, I'm in, whatever.
There's definitely
I love
like,
all of
she
this.
trusts him.
Yeah.
And like he seems to run everything. He's trusted with a lot of responsibility for her. But like he also has that jester privilege where he's allowed to sass her a little bit and not get in trouble for it. I feel like if any of those other people in the house were to actually try that, like immediate reprimand. But like
like Confederate
because-
vampire.
Yeah,
Like he's not
I
getting
hate
away with that
Confederate
shit.
vampires.
Yeah. He's great. No, I definitely love the Countess in this movie too, Lauren
Michaels.
Hutton. Yeah, Lauren Michaels. She's outstanding in this as well. And so we see Sebastian awakens her, and she's worried because she's in desperate need of virgin blood from a young man before All Hallows Eve. So she has to drink 3 times before Halloween, basically.
2 things.
Yes.
The interior of her coffin, like the lining, the bright pink,
Yeah.
awesome. Number
the
2,
outfit she's rocking,
Yeah.
very 80s
Amazing.
aerobic. Yeah.
Yeah.
the other thing I want to mention is that she has to bite a virgin 3 times, and boy, does she dick around in this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
Why not
like,
just get it over with? What's with all the tomfoolery?
I think it's just,
Just gotta
she
bite
likes
him
to
3
play
times.
with their food.
I guess, but like I don't feel bad for it with her fate at the end. I'm like, you had a lot of opportunities, lady.
She did. No, she really does have a lot of opportunities.
But anyway,
But when she says is not like drinking the blood, she says not vintage, not virgin.
Yeah.
I was looking up the associations between like virgin blood because it's not the first time I've heard it in vampire movies. And while I couldn't find anything like in folklore about it, I'm thinking it's more of a fiction thing. Like it comes up in movies and novels more where they need the virgin blood, and I'm thinking there's a couple of reasons for that. One, if we look at the vampires as a corruption of life, so as undead, then they would also want to corrupt purity. So like the way it's kind of a metaphor, the way death takes away young people unfairly. So
do you think there's also something tied in there too, like with like beliefs from say like Christianity, a little bit
Oh yeah,
about?
I have that too as the Virgin Mary. So
Yeah.
it is a corruption of religion as well. That profane because like they usually they can't bury. Like people who aren't on hallowed ground will come back as vampires, supposedly in folklore. And my second thing is that many STDs and STIs are exchanged via bodily fluids. So the vampire's
I know
bite
all
is
about that.
the vampire's bite is a metaphor for sex comes into play here. And so it seems like that might be what the myth that they're leaning into for this movie because it does seem very suggestive through a lot.
Yeah.
Just
Also-
out here educating. Love it.
Also, when the Countess says, like, because somebody suggested, I think Sebastian suggests, like, an 11-year-old boy, and she's like, kind of like,
Ew,
no,
no.
gross.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously...
I'm not Bryan Singer.
Oh.
Leave that in, please.
It's
But-
staying in.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not the monster. I'm just calling him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so she's not obviously into kids, and I like that the movie makes a point to be like, he's 18, he is 18 years old.
Yes.
all right.
Yeah.
Now, wait. Let me stop you right there. Let's reverse the roles. Let's make this
No,
an
it's still
18-year-old.
gross.
Okay.
It's still gross, but at least it's 18. It's like, it's not that gross, It's like, it's
Yeah.
still, like, she's like 400, I think she says.
Yeah.
Something like that.
She's 400.
Let's just.
Still worth having.
I was gonna say let's just
conversation
say
about,
she's 40. Let's back it way off, and let's just say she's 40. Still super inappropriate.
Yeah.
But that's hey man, it's a different time.
It's a different
Let the
time,
good
man.
times fly.
Or number 3,
smoke 'em
the
if you
last
got
thing,
'em.
for my favorite explanation for why virgin blood is actually from the film What We Do in the Shadows, where one of the vampires says, I would look at it this way. If you were to have a sandwich, You would enjoy it so much more if you knew no one had fucked it.
That's true. That's true.
Well, we can move on from that now.
All right. Yeah. So
That's like a drop in the mic moment.
So we, Sebastian is trying to reassure her that she will find someone, but she says being a vampire in the 20th century sucks because virgins are so hard to find. So she
It
sends
almost
out.
seems like it could have been an 80s sitcom, like a TV show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Being a vampire in the modern era is hard.
it's so hard.
She's got to like work and find young virgins to eat.
Yeah.
I would have watched that show.
I would have watched that.
Yeah.
So she sends out her vampire cronies to search for one. She's like, "You get out there, you find me a virgin."
Now, which is also is the name of the new Diddy show on MTV.
No.
Get out there and find me a virgin.
Oh no.
That was
So
topical.
So let me go off on a little rant here. I've been
Don't.
obsessed.
You've been P
Obse-
Diddy's
I've,
new guy.
I've been obsessed with. That's good. I've been obsessed with everything that's going on with Diddy, and all I want to say is, rewatch this movie and imagine Diddy is the vampire.
I mean,
And as if this movie wasn't bad and creepy enough, just the way that the whole situation is, this is literally what this guy did to people. And it blew my mind. I just saw this, I watched this entire movie through the prism of, oh, that's kind of like what Diddy did.
oh man,
I'm sorry, guys. Go ahead.
thank you.
I'm gonna give you the option.
No. Leave it in. 100%.
You want me to cut this?
No. Leave that in.
All right.
100%.
This is on you.
Have it.
Okay, throbbing
Repeat the
edit. No, I'm just kidding.
Could you
So,
repeat the last thing you said because I
oh yeah. So Sebastian, so she sends out her cronies.
Okay, yeah,
Like
if we go
her-
back to looking at the parallel between this and Dracula, I feel like all of her little cronies are kind of like Dracula's brides. So
Yes,
the other ones
yeah.
that she's turned and then be like, hey, you're boring now, I gotta find something new.
Yeah, they were like supposedly they were all the virgins she fed on
Yeah.
throughout the.
But now they
Period
probably
of
just
time.
help her find new virgins. So it's sort of like, you were a project. I've had my way with you. Now I just need you to help me keep this.
And that's
Sebastian
another weird thing, like, do they
also-
all need to drink from virgins or just her?
Unclear.
Yeah, unclear.
Well,
unclear
I think
instructions.
Sebastian says at one point he's like, if you want the Countess's protection and stuff, that like you have to go do this.
Yeah.
So they
Because it seems like she's been subsisting on just regular blood, because she does in that first scene.
right.
But she just needs the virgin blood before Halloween to stay young.
Yeah, and Halloween at this point is maybe like 2 weeks away. They said, or a week and a half.
Do you think any of her cronies saved the good virgins for themselves? You know what I
I don't
mean?
know,
Like
yeah.
they find one, they're like, yeah, this one's pretty good. I'm not
do
gonna.
that
I'm not
Countess
gonna.
thing. Yeah, maybe.
Hey, I want to just throw a little thing out here. I really enjoyed all the different types of caskets
Me too.
that
Oh,
reflected
me
all the
too.
vampires. The one has like little Confederate flags on the inside.
Yeah, the Gettysburg
which is
one.
it's just like, okay. And there's like a hippie, and she's got a little wicker casket.
And
Yeah,
I love that she's like just listening to her headphones.
Yeah, she's just having a good time.
and the Age of Innocence, like the pilot-looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the
okay.
vampires all look like they could have their own movies.
Yeah. Oh no, they definitely could.
Yeah.
Once bitten before.
Little Disney Plus spinoffs.
Ooh, I
The
like
one
it.
that really bothers me is the guy with the striped shirt and the neckerchief, and he looks like he should be a sailor. And I'm like, oh, maybe he's French or English.
I got French and that he was like an artist.
He has no accent at all. It's American.
You
And
wanted
I'm
more
like,
of like a stereotype.
I did. That would have tickled me a bit.
Well, that's an American artist stereotype.
Yeah.
Dressed as a Frenchman.
Find me a virgin. Woo! I'm about to make a
I
name for
kinda
myself
wanted-
over now.
I kind of wanted him to be a mime.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Ooh, Vampire Mime would be a good movie.
Ah, I like this.
Mimepire.
Mime. Oh man.
Have I ever said this before? My dream, like, you know, people ask you, like, what's your superpower? I wish that I was invisible for one day, because I would just go to France and beat the shit out of a mime. Because, like, think of what all the other people, they'd be like, oh my
He's the
God,
best
this guy's so
performer.
committed.
He's literally bleeding from his
How's
face.
he
How's
doing?
he
This
doing
guy's
this?
so good.
Yeah.
That's all I would do. I wouldn't rob a bank or anything like
Crawling
that.
away. Oh,
And I
look
drag
at
him
him
back.
just breaking character now.
So
Please stop. You're not supposed to talk, man.
So the next scene, we have Mark, played by Jim Carrey, and Robin, Karen Coppins, in his ice cream truck. And they're kind of, making out and stuff and discussing going all the way. But they get interrupted by a guy from Friday the 13th Part 5.
Yeah, Joey,
looking for some ice creamsicles. And he's like, come on, man, get out of here.
Hey, lucky for him, he wasn't talking about a chocolate bar.
Oh, dang.
Got him in trouble last time. Can I ask you a quick question about that ice cream truck?
No.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused. Why does he get to keep his work truck?
I mean, maybe it's like a family thing? I don't know.
Is that what their family does? Are they like ice cream people?
Ice cream.
It could be.
What is the term?
The ice cream empire that
The
they
ice cream
built.
because it seems like he gets to just like
he
keep
just
the work
drives
truck.
it around everywhere.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like,
That was one of the
did he-
perks of the job, is that he gets to keep the truck as he drives it. Because you don't want to drive it back and forth to load up the ice.
But then he's just giving away the product.
Hey,
for
man,
free.
I don't know.
He's like, have an ice pop for my one night stand.
Well, yeah, that you give that away.
I've got questions about the mechanics of this thing.
We'll get that.
EJ, I need you to answer all of my questions.
We're
Yeah.
thinking too much about it.
So
I don't think so.
we see where Robin decides to just wait, and I always laugh when we see Mark get out of the vehicle, and we see every car around him. You just see like butt cheeks literally in the air, like humping, and then all the cars are like rocking back and forth. Like every single car is like basically hooking up right now.
What's that machine in the background? I forget what they're called.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
But it's like jamming into the earth and stuff.
Yeah.
And you just see
Like
it.
from an oil rig?
Yeah.
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 And you just see him like
In
no,
full.
Is that
No.
a pun about drilling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
100%.
And it's full Jim Carrey doing full Jim Carrey. Just exasperated by everything that's going on around him. And yeah, you
It's
can
just
feel his
that
emotions.
wide of
Yeah.
everybody having sex and he's just in pain.
I
Yeah.
think she's made a reasonable boundary, though.
Oh yeah.
Like-
no, Robin's
Like,
awesome
I'm
in this
not
movie.
saying no. I'm just saying
Not
not now
now.
and not here.
Not in this ice cream truck.
Robin doesn't do anything wrong in this film. Let's just be clear about
She's
that.
perfectly
Robin's-
reasonable, and he's just like kind of an incel. He's being a dick.
Yeah. Robin in this movie.
Well, to be fair, he's being a teenage boy in the 80s.
That's fair.
That's true. Yeah.
I
I
knew
was just
several.
gonna
I
say
knew
Robin is incredible in this movie. She literally does nothing wrong. Like she's
Yeah.
like, to me, she's kind of like one of the best parts of this movie. I don't know.
And I think that she's, probably the most easy, I guess I would say easy to understand character.
Oh yeah, I feel like she's really well rounded. I'm surprised her as an actress didn't take off more. You know what I mean? Like I feel like she was so good in this movie. It's like, why didn't we see more of her?
Do you think that's because of you? Like, would you say that maybe that's your fault that her career didn't take off?
Why?
I don't know. I'm just
I
asking.
didn't do it.
Because I feel like
What?
you're responsible for the failures of her life.
What? How? I didn't even do anything.
I don't know, man. I think you got some work to do on yourself. You can figure this shit out. Don't cry. You don't cry until this is something that we're recording and that we can put on YouTube. I want the
Sorry.
audience to see you cry.
Okay.
Hey, write to us if you'd like to see EJ cry.
I didn't know I ruined her career.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It's a crime that people at home cannot see the face that EJ was just making right now. Just a reminder why I love you, but go on.
So the next day, Mark discusses with his buddies Russ and Jamie about, losing his virginity. He's like, me and Robin, I don't know, just sometimes I just wish I could just go hook up with some girl and just get the pressure of that out of there, and I could just have a normal relationship with Robin, yada yada yada, right? And I'm like, I don't know, man, that doesn't seem like a good idea.
Well, I think he's thinking of like love and lust is
Like two different
yeah.
things, and and
He
lust
doesn't
is
understand that it
definitely
should be it should be come together.
yeah, and it's definitely like the roadblock in
Yeah.
their relationship, right? So
Dumb 80s boy.
and his buddy
I also
Russ,
think that like a teenager visiting his friends while they're at work is like the most realistic thing ever. Like
Yeah.
I don't know a
Oh,
single
yeah, it
teenager
really
who's like,
is.
oh, you're working and you're supposed to have responsibilities. Let me come bother you.
I love their little burger hut.
Yeah.
Like the little clown burger. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Not
I
a
like it.
manager in sight.
not a manager. Just
And I would
these
say
two friends.
I would say that maybe one of them was the manager, but then you see how they perform, and you're like, you're not a manager.
There's no way.
No one's promoting you.
Yeah.
Also, like, the first, like, burger that he has is basically like a burnt hockey puck, and he's like, you call this well done? And it's like, yeah, it's burnt.
There's nothing left.
Yeah.
There's no juices to be found.
There is no change.
So his buddy
There
Russ
is no
suggests,
change.
hey, like, why don't we go to a club and you can meet a lady and just get it out of the way? And so Mark is like, I don't know. And then the whole burger scene happens. The next scene, they go to downtown LA looking for the speed dating club.
Which the 80s montage of them, it's one of my
so
favorite
good.
80s things. People driving around, pointing and smiling and laughing.
Yeah.
Why was a lady walking a lion?
I don't know, but it was awesome,
Did that
wasn't it?
actually,
LA, man.
Did that actually, like, is that something that was like, oh, I saw that actually in LA once, so I have
LA.
to put it in the movie?
All
Yeah.
I know is that line crushed it.
Yeah.
As far
it really
as
did.
as far as animal acting goes.
And by
Yes.
it,
I
we mean
believe
that
him.
woman's trachea when he mauled her.
Moments later, she was mauled to death. We're correct.
I think this is the first lion we got to see on film during
For prequels?
Yeah.
Unless we were watching any number of MGM movies.
Ooh, true. And this was an MGM
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. So there we go.
Didn't
So
we
it
do the
could've been
Lion
the same
King?
lion.
No.
No.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
We have this great montage, and then they're playing the song "Once Bitten." Great
Awesome.
movie
Title track.
Wow.
I love it.
by 3 Speed. Great.
Yeah.
Once Bitten, and it's really, really catchy. It's
good.
definitely like an earworm. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's really super catchy. So eventually they arrive to the phone date club, and we see
I love
outside.
those phones. I love those phones.
Yeah, I know.
Phones are awesome.
The like lip phones that they have.
And this is a fun sequence.
Yeah. So we see that a couple of the vampires spot the trio of guys like entering that spot, and 2 of those vampires that spot those 3 are from Friday the 13th Part 2. The guy with the red hair.
I
He's
noticed
also
that.
Just
I
one
saw
of the
that.
guys. Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
ever see Just One of the Guys?
No.
Okay.
I've
Ugh.
seen Friday the 13th too, though.
Yeah, so he's in that, and then we have one of the twins from Friday the 13th Part 4, Terry.
One of the Doublemint twins.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Friday the 13th Part 4, check out our episode of Frequels, where we cover Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
So,
Shameless plug.
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
Vince
yeah,
wasn't
that's
there.
right. Yeah. So inside the club, Russ calls table 17 and uses his pickup line, I'm a Sagittarius. I enjoy surfing, candlelit dinners, and Tolstoy. Listen, I'm a mature person, and you're a mature person. So let's skip all that bullshit and do what we really want to do.
Hey.
Thank you. And that's Russ's like big line.
Yeah, man, you nailed it.
And so that line works, and he gets an invite to the table, but he quickly realizes he's not into it and runs back to the table.
He doesn't want to be tied up.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
No,
so
that's not that one. but-
Oh no. Oh, okay. That was
But,
a different.
yeah,
It's a guy in drag, and I know it sounds like it could have been maybe a little insensitive, but like the guy's kind of awesome.
yeah. No, I actually don't think that's a bad.
Yeah, it's not like
scene.
mean spirited or anything
Yeah,
like that.
I don't think it is
Because he kind of just like
mean-spirited,
makes fun of him.
but- Yeah,
So I don't
well,
know.
it's Russ's reaction
yeah,
that is disappointing about it. Because it's like the disgust and, like as he's walking away from the table.
yeah. I was
I,
just gonna
but
say,
I also
like,
think that he is going to get tied up in either situation.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So a little time passes, and their table gets a call from a lady at the bar, which just happens to
Oh
be the
wait,
Countess.
also just to tag what we were just talking about. Keep in mind, he's a very stupid character.
So dumb.
He's very stupid, and he would react like that.
Yeah.
Just
So-
an awful guy. Would you really like follow him around this movie, or just like
Ugh. Ugh.
you
sucks.
don't really want to turn out like him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway,
So the Countess is at the bar. She calls, and she calls over Mark. So they flirt a little bit. Sorry. And meanwhile, his buddies meet some ladies, but one of their husbands arrive, And
One of my favorite scenes.
I love
in the
this.
whole
It's
movie.
because
great.
He pulls out a gun.
It is so wild.
Well, he flashes a gun, but
Yeah, he
yeah.
flashes a gun, and they're like, "He's got a gun!" And everyone in the place just like starts to get up and run out.
Except I really respect the dedication of the couple in the phone booth that will not stop making.
Oh yeah,
Or the guy that's trying to
Everybody's
keep
right.
that girl on the phone.
yeah.
Stuff like this happens all the time. It's okay.
Oh yeah, I love that. He's like, it happens all the time. So in the midst of the chaos, the Countess takes Mark to her limo. He's like, "Oh, what about my ice cream truck?" And the chauffeur is like, "Don't worry,
know where it's
Sebastian.
parked."
I know where you're parked. I'll get it."
Wait, can we go back to how quickly he abandons his friends?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, she's just like, don't worry about it. He's like, okay.
Okay.
She's
bye-bye.
like, I can handle it. Don't make it worse. You know.
Yeah.
I'm
That'll be
wondering
fine.
if there's not a little bit of that vampire hypnotism going on there, the mesmerism.
I think so. Because we do see her use that a lot later, and so I think maybe that a little bit of that spell. He's like under the spell a little bit of it.
I think he's just a shitty friend.
He's a
Yeah.
shitty.
Well,
There's
he's
also
too.
that.
Yeah.
But just going back a
Rory
little
would do
bit,
that to us. Right?
See all of
I've
the
done
above.
it.
Yeah, he's done it. So
Seen it.
I've left you both at gunpoint before.
Yeah.
I abandoned you. I ran away screaming.
Both times it was your fault too.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
things
just
I
leave
did
us.
that you had to pay for.
yeah,
all those carjackings.
Yeah.
it was worth it.
If we could just roll back though, when she's flirting with him, she
Yeah.
calls him tall, dark, and handsome,
Yeah.
which I found out was in Hollywood that was a term they often used to describe Rudolph Valentino from Blood and
Oh,
Sand.
neato.
And so, since he was big in the 1920s, so I'm wondering if that was just them trying to show her age a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
You know,
That's
I also, adding to that, I like that there's like a little bit of like a Three Stooges moment too, because she's like, oh, tall, dark, and handsome, and he's like looking around like, oh, you're talking to me?
Me?
It's also-
You ever see that Three Stooges bit where they're like, they walk in, they're like, gentlemen, and they both, all three of them
They
are like,
all look
where?
around.
Yeah.
Where? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a
Love
funny
it.
bit.
It's also what Roy refers to me as: tall, dark, and handsome.
I do.
I know.
You're my type.
I know.
Anyway.
So when they get back to her place, the Countess seduces Mark a little bit, and she starts biting off his buttons. Like she changes into like a very,
Sensuous,
Oh, you
sensual.
see
Yeah.
so much. When they
Fucking
pull
tell
into
him,
the
Al.
driveway,
Tell him.
when they pull into the driveway, the
Yeah.
license plate. Did you see it?
no.
Yes.
Life sucks.
His life
It said
sucks.
life
Oh,
sucks.
I didn't even see that. No.
Oh,
sec-
by the way, Dracula sucks. That's a movie we got to talk
Oh
about.
yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta talk about that.
it's gonna be a two-parter. There's so much.
We're gonna
to
bring
talk
Uncle Sal in for that. Prequels After Dark.
I really like this one. Great plot.
Then when she opens the fridge to grab a drink, there's like a bunch of bottles that say
Pints of blood.
whole blood on them, and then she just like a chicken with like bite marks in its
Yeah,
neck,
I actually love that.
and then some kind of animal on the door of the fridge, which I think is really disrespectful.
And
As a person who speaks on behalf of chickens across America, I didn't find that funny.
oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna pour a shot for
Out.
our
Nice.
for our fallen chickens.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Chicken
guys.
brethren.
But also when he's waiting at the bar for that drink, his hands are like so sweaty. It's really, I don't know why I look like this scene sticks out, but he puts his hands on the counter, and when he lifts them up, it's like just wet marks there. And then he uses his sleeve like
To, like,
this.
wipe it off, yeah.
to wipe it off like his
It's
sweat
so
marks.
subtle though.
It's so subtle, and Jim Carrey's so good that like I don't know if he actually was nervous or if it was just like a
He's-
thing. He was like, all right, I'm gonna try to clam up my hand so it looks like I'm nervous.
So-
Delightfully awkward.
It is. It really is.
So I've gone to a job interview, and that was one of my biggest like worries. Is like I am so nervous, I am so sweaty
Yeah.
that my if I go to shake this dude's hand, he needs a bathing suit.
Yes.
So I get that.
Yeah, I relate.
Yeah, I get it.
One last thing I just want to add before we move past the speed dating scene is when they try to calm down the husband with the gun. They try to calm him down. His response is, "Shut up, scumbag!" Shut up, scumbag. That made me laugh really hard.
Well,
That guy's great.
this
like one of your
must be a
favorite phrases.
pattern with his wife because he's like, I have your letters, and like you're a pornographer, like so apparently somebody had written
Somebody
her, like,
else's,
these
yeah.
filthy letters, and he calls him by a different name.
You know.
And
Yeah.
so, like, obviously there's a whole backstory
Yeah,
with his
he's
wife.
paying the price for
I
something.
want a movie about her.
Yeah, we need a movie about them. We need vampire movies, all the little individual stories.
Yes.
I don't know, this movie.
This
could have been a
and
universe.
World building.
Oh,
Yeah.
sprawling universe.
Yeah.
Disney.
When
You
she
hear me?
says, I'm going upstairs
No.
to change into something more comfortable, and then Sebastian's there, and she doesn't have a reflection, so instead of a mirror, she has that vanity with him on the other side putting makeup on her and
Yeah.
telling her how she looks.
Sitting on the other
Yes.
side, I love that.
I love that, too.
so much. Like, I don't have a mirror, I'm just gonna have this guy describe to me how I look.
But that's also like showing how much he's into it. He's like, I'm here for this. I don't
Yeah.
care whether there's eternal life or not. I'm in for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna make you look beautiful. Doesn't matter.
Sebastian's awesome. I also love. She's always like, Sebastian, come out of the closet. He's like, I did it centuries
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
It's like you clearly know what he's into.
Just a
Yeah.
wonderful character.
He
Yeah.
is. He's a fantastic character, and that duo, just an incredible duo. Like him and the Countess have such a like cool relationship.
Chemistry. They have a
chemistry,
screen
for
chemistry.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when they when she gets back downstairs, she's seducing Mark, and she starts biting off his buttons on his shirt.
He
And
like grabs
spitting
the
them out.
pillow and he puts it over to cover
Oh,
himself.
covers. Yeah.
Yeah, doing an impression of a young JD Vance.
Yes. Oh no. Oh no. Yes. And then we see where.
Wait, I like when Mark goes into the house for the first time.
Oh, and he sees the painting.
Well, just she
That's
said
so good, too.
the previous owner slaughtered his family and then hung himself.
Yeah.
And he was perfectly fine with it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
oh,
just
cool.
like, oh, okay.
Oh, did you get a good price on it? She's like, well, the cleaning bill was pretty bad.
which is just great.
Yeah, it's so like subtle and like not like horrific at all.
It's like a throwaway thing.
And then they
Yeah.
just move on.
yeah.
There's so many like funny things like
Yeah.
that in this movie. It's great. But yeah,
She comes back down and he's looking at the painting of her topless. And
yeah,
he's
and he's
reaching
trying
for
to touch
boob.
the boob. Yeah, and then she's like,
He's
"Dad,"
grazing the nipple.
It's a very
I see.
teenager thing to do.
Oh, I
Right.
see you've made yourself comfortable.
and he's like, oh, I really like this painting. She's like, oh, I got it done in Europe ages ago. You know?
No. No. He says to her, oh, would you get this done at the mall?
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
the
right.
only funnier line, like she says, oh no, I got this done and blah, 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 blah. The
Yeah.
only funnier line would have been like, yeah,
Oh, I
did.
would have loved that.
yeah,
yeah.
I
Oh,
got
yeah.
this, I got this done at the mall. Yeah.
Or if she was just like, sure, you know, sure.
Just, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Sweet summer child.
So she starts biting the buttons off, spinning them off, or spinning them out, and then we see where she like goes down towards his legs and
To
bites-
fillet him.
Yeah, and bites him, and he like immediately passes out.
I love
See,
that. Ow!
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this movie in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think the last time I saw it, I was probably like a teenager. So like 60 or 70 years ago at this point. But I was really kind of hoping for a point where Mark would have tried to stop the whole thing. Because I for some reason remembered him being like, oh no, I actually have like a girlfriend, and like stopped it. But
Yeah.
they don't have that moment, and it makes me like him a little less.
Well, to be fair, all she's done at this point is bite his thigh, and then he blacks out.
I don't think you know.
No? Wait, what?
yeah. So he wakes up the next day. Well, not really the next day, but like a little later, and she gives him some orange juice, and the Countess sends him on his way.
Because that's what you do.
Yeah, that's
Just
the way
orange
to go.
juice and send them on their way.
And I
Well,
love
the
when
orange juice is obviously because, you know, when you have low blood sugar, they would give you orange juice and a cookie and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
After you
I
get
wish
blood.
they gave him a cookie too.
That would have been
That would have
hilarious.
been very funny.
And I love how when Mark hands them like the Countess and Sebastian, he's like, "Hey, some ice cream on the house, or popsicles on the house," and they're like, "Oh, thank you." And he gets in the
He
van,
drives away.
drives away, and they
And
just
they
like
both-
toss it behind them. It's so perfectly timed.
Yeah.
And like those two,
Are
their
a great
chemistry-
duo.
Yeah, it's so good.
Which again, I'm like, why does he get to just hand out product?
Right.
My favorite exchange though was like when she says, "I don't mind being the other woman," and he's like,
Yeah.
"That's very unselfish of you."
Very unselfish of you. So, So Monday at school, Mark asks for an uncooked burger. So we're starting to see the change because before it was burnt to a crisp, and he was like, "Oh, put this bag on the grill." Now he's like, "Can I have like one of those uncooked burgers?" And we see the lunch lady go, "Yeah, whatever." And
You want to talk about a great performance from that lunch lady?
Yeah.
She's just kind of like confused, but just like over her job.
Which is
what?
exactly how lunch ladies act.
She's like, "Oh, can I have that rare one?" She's like, "What? Whatever the fuck, take it."
Yeah, and I love the decorations, like the little cat decorations, like the Halloween cats.
Mm-hmm. I do
Like,
too.
all over the place. That's
I do
cute.
too. Hey, shout out to Ella,
So
little pumpkin cat.
we see where he goes to his friends and starts chatting about his Saturday night.
And they were arrested. Like they.
Yeah, they got arrested.
I'm
And
glad they don't hold grudges.
Yeah. The pervert kid was excited about
Russ.
the strip search.
yeah,
Like.
Russ is like, "Well, we had a strip search, which was pretty nice, you know." And Jamie's like, "Ugh," he like looks at him like, "Are you kidding me?"
Hey, a
Well,
win's
maybe-
a win.
Yeah.
Win's a win.
Maybe Russ
One's
does
good.
want to get tied up. I'm not sure now.
Yeah. So they chat about how the night went with the Countess, and he's not really sure if anything really happened. He's like, "I actually don't really remember." And as he's like,
Again, sounds
discussing-
like a Diddy party, but
Right.
anyway, yeah.
He's discussing like how he doesn't remember, and he went home with the
Yeah,
Countess,
blacked
like,
out, doesn't remember
probably
anything, but he's
happened.
definitely sore.
But Robin is sitting behind him, and she kind of hears everything. And then I love when she gets up and she's like, "Where'd you find her? Huh? A 7-Eleven? A bowling alley?" And I'm like, it's probably
Those are places to meet people, I guess.
So and then
None
Mark-
of the above, though.
Yeah.
Speed dating in Vegas.
Is that where sluts hang out? Like,
Yes,
is that
7-Eleven.
why
That's
she's-
where I
7-Eleven?
find all of
according
my
to
sluts.
Robin.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's actually where I hang out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, big gulp, guys.
That's what they call me.
Speaking of Jim Carrey, that's one of my favorite lines
Yeah.
he
Hey.
ever delivers.
I like
He just
big
goes,
gulp.
"Big gulps, huh?" And then he just moves on.
Yeah, it's the best. I freaking love that. And Dumb and Dumber. Oh, it's so good. So Mark confesses to Robin. He's like, "Yeah, I don't really remember anything, and I don't know. Like, stuff might have happened, but I don't really remember." And then Robin's like, "You know what? Screw this." And she kind of like breaks it up. She's like, "Take your ring and I'm out of here," right? So she leaves.
He's like, "What am I gonna do with this?"
Yeah. So Mark, in the next scene, he's dissecting a frog, and a teacher comes in, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm dissecting a frog." And she's like, "You're not even in this class."
Which is a great scene.
Oh, it's such a funny scene, yeah. And then he takes like the little organs.
The way he puts it back
and
together.
he puts it back in the frog, and then he like folds the
He,
like.
he
skin.
but he
And then
like
gives a little
pauses.
pat.
Yeah, he pauses for a moment to be like, "Is this right? Yeah, this is right." And then he
Yeah.
pats it back together.
Which
yeah.
is just Jim Carrey being brilliant.
Yeah, physical
Yeah.
comedy,
And
man.
then almost bumps into the skeleton.
Yeah.
Takes
I love it.
skeleton down.
It's like the real Jim Carrey trying to burst out of this movie.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely. Then at home, Mark is now sleeping in his like
Trunk.
yeah, and he's woken up by his dad. And he's like, "Are you all right, son?" And by the way, this actor who plays the dad is phenomenal in
Yeah.
this movie. I wish there were like more scenes with him or the parents.
He'd have played a perfect Uncle Ben.
Oh, 100%. He would have been amazing.
Like oblivious
He
to what's
looks
going
like
on.
Uncle
He
Ben
does
from
look
the
like an Uncle Ben.
comics.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Hey, when I was a kid,
There's our
and I
Spider-Man
saw this
reference.
Movie,
Yeah.
I saw this movie for the first time when I was a little kid, and I tried sleeping in a trunk. I did. Because
you?
I really
Because of
no,
this movie?
I'm not kidding. I really liked Mark. I thought he was cool, so I was like, I wish I was a vampire. I tried sleeping in a trunk, and I realized very quickly how fucking uncomfortable it was. So I gave up on that.
That
dream
was
of
the
being a
closest thing
vampire.
you ever got to becoming a vampire.
Yeah.
Sleeping in a trunk.
Yeah.
I love
that.
that.
When somebody tried to stake me, but that was for different
Yeah.
reasons.
Hey, man, I love you for that.
It had
That's awesome.
It had nothing. What?
The fact that you tried to sleep in a trunk.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Was that you guys didn't do that when you were kids?
Yeah, sure.
I was poor. We couldn't afford it.
Oh, you had a trunk? you had a trunk to sleep in?
You're like, I couldn't afford one. I had to sleep in an old Pepsi box.
Yeah. I tried.
This is a Domino's
my
box
head
that
could
Adam
only
had already
fit.
pissed on.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Adam
But
just
in his room, did you notice the Billy Squire poster on his door?
yes, yeah.
You think that's like part of the character? Because, like, you know, Rock Me Right and The Stroke.
I wonder. Yeah. Stroke me. Isn't that the song?
Yeah.
Stroke me, stroke me. So they hear him. So the father is like, yeah, we hear you pacing at night, and you're looking a little pale. And he's like, yeah, Dad, I'm okay. Robin and I have been having our problems. And like I said, I just love the dad's reaction to like everything. So that night, Mark has a
I
dream.
kind of wish the dad was like, whoa. I don't want to hear any of that bullshit. Just keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Fuck off with that shit. Just stop like walking around at
Yeah,
night.
this was a rhetorical question. I don't actually care.
Yeah. So that night, Mark has a dream / nightmare where he's on a date with Robin. Then it turns into the Countess, and it ends where they kiss, and when she backs up, we see like a little bit of blood coming down from her jaw, and he like wakes up from this nightmare. So Robin and Mark are meeting up the next day, and first Robin is discussing Mark with her friends. And I kind of love that shot. There's like this mural of like
Yeah, it
the
looks like they're
woods.
like in Canada or something.
Yeah. And it looks like My Bloody Valentine, like one of the
Sure.
the background of that. And
Was anyone playing harmonica? No.
no. So
What a weird moment in that movie. We
So
don't have to
weird.
stay
It's
on it.
weird.
It's very
that
strange.
movie's
Let's have a harmonica off.
Yeah. So Robin discusses Mark with her friends, and then Mark shows up, and Mark apologizes. She's like, "You're being really weird. Your hair's different, and all it is, it's just like slicked back now. Like it's not like completely different." She's
It's
like,
starting to look like Casey Clocker a little bit.
So I've said this for years that
I've
Casey
never heard you
Clocker
say it.
looks like Jim Carrey.
A
Like
little bit.
a lot of people at Cinemark are like, yeah, they kind of look alike, right? And
It's
I'm
like
yeah.
it's something mixed between like Jim Carrey and Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we see where she's like, all right, whatever. So
Casey
Mark,
Clocker was on our Starship Troopers episode.
yeah,
Of prequels.
and that gets like so much traction. It's so funny because he actually, we were at Carl's benefit, and someone went up to Casey. I forget who it was. I mean, it might have been Carmen or something, who like was like, "Oh, you're Casey." He's like, "I listened to your episode," and then like just started going off. I
Yeah?
think it was Carmen, yeah. And like, "Oh, I love that episode. It was so good." Blah blah blah.
Look at us bringing people together.
I know,
Yeah,
it's
wonderful.
Yeah,
Prequels all about love, guys.
yeah, man. It's all
No,
about
it's
love.
well during the recording process. No, not so much, but afterwards.
Verbal abuse.
Yeah.
When the cameras
mostly
and
verbal.
everything's off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a Diddy party up in here. Anyway,
Oh gosh,
I can't do it enough.
Gosh. So Robin gets an apology from Mark, and they end up kind of like making up a little bit, like after all. So
Well, I like her how she comes back around and just blames it on herself.
yeah, she's like, maybe it's my fault because I keep pushing you away. and
I
I'm
made
like,
you sexually frustrated, so I guess it's okay that you cheated on me. I'm like, well, that aged like a fine
That's
wine.
terrible. Yeah, that's
It's pretty bad. I like it. She gaslit herself.
yeah, she did.
I was
Which
like,
is really hard to do.
yeah, I was kind of like
I'm
watching this.
concerned for her home life.
I was watching this with Becca
Oh,
last
she's
night.
single.
And when she was explaining that, I just got like real quiet. I'm like, I don't want to look at her. She has to hate this movie.
Don't look.
Don't look at her.
So we see where the Countess now, it cuts over to her and Sebastian, and they reflect on the good old days of feeding on shepherds and peasants. And then we cut back over to Mark. And Mark meets up with his pals at the laundromat. And he's like, really, guys? The laundromat? They're like, hey, this is a great place to pick up ladies. He's like, I don't know. I'm going to go visit Robin. And so we see this quick scene where...
Which is great.
Yeah, they
There's
go
some
into
real
the
funny
laundry.
comedy in here.
Yeah, and they go in and they try their hand on, trying to hit on a couple ladies. And I love when he goes to Jamie, he's like, hey, did you bring protection?
It's my favorite moment of the
And
movie.
he pulls out a rubber glove. He's like, what do you plan on inviting
Inviting
forth?
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you plan on inviting 4 friends?
Yeah. So we see where they hit on, 2 different ladies.
His pickup line, Jamie, he's like, oh, do you need help folding your underwear?
Yeah.
I'm like, has that ever worked in the history of the world?
But wait,
I hope not.
Isn't that the trope? Is that they're doing the same pickup line no matter what? Because doesn't Russ have the same pickup line for
He's
this
like,
lady?
Listen, I'm a mature person, and
You're
you're a mature person. So let's skip all this bullshit and do what we really want to do. And thanks.
so good. It's so good.
So he tries it. And
Wait, have you used that? Has it worked?
all the time?
You ever told him the story of how you met Robin?
Yeah. That's
I'm a
my.
mature person. She's
I'm a
like,
mature-
well,
Well,
I wouldn't go that far.
no, my dad used that on my mom.
That's
At the laundromat.
And I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he hits on the one. Russ hits on the one lady, and she's like, "Oh yeah,
She's
come
into
on
it.
over."
She's game.
And she's like, "I'm gonna tie you up." And he's like, "Oh, I gotta go." Right?
So when you approach somebody really sexually aggressively, it's not cool. It's a little intimidating and creepy. Did he learn that lesson?
Yeah. Kind of.
He's gonna go right back to it though. I know
And-
that
and
guy.
she's
He's
like-
in over his head.
Yeah.
I like when he's like, his excuse, she's like, let's go back to your place. He's like, well, we can't go back to my place. I sleep with my brother and he wets the
He
bed.
wets the bed. He's a bedwetter.
And so he runs back and he's looking for Jamie. And Jamie, we just see him in
As
the
he
background.
walks by, yeah.
He's just like in the
Spinning.
dryer, just spinning.
That's so funny.
It's such a good scene.
He gets
Yeah.
him out, and then his clothes
His midriff.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
So
like
funny.
4 sizes too small. on
The only
him
thing
now.
that would have made that funnier is if he looked down and his like one sock was missing,
I would have loved.
because that's like dryer logic.
Or
Yes.
if like socks were like stuck to him, you know, like that static electricity kind of.
His hair's all out.
Yeah.
that would have
For,
been
for a
good.
second, that girl that Russ was hitting on at the laundromat, I thought she looked like Amanda Bierce from Fright Night.
Yeah, Fright Night. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
it's
Or
just-
like Rizzo from Greece.
Yeah. Stockard Channing. Hell yeah.
But no, I'm like, oh, is that her? And I googled it. I'm like, no, it's not her.
She was too busy getting her Married with Children money at that time.
Oh yeah.
Sweet, sweet Married with Children money.
So at the clothing store, Mark visits with Robin.
He's
and,
shopping for kisses.
Yeah, and while she's talking to a customer, this is when we get some real peak Jim Carrey, like just goofing around.
The director stepped off set to go take a phone call, and Jim
Yeah.
Carrey was like,
Oh, I got
I'm
this.
gonna bring this movie up.
And
a
we see
notch.
him doing that like funny walk where he's like trying on the thing. And he's like,
His eyebrows are bouncing up and down.
yeah, it's outstanding. And so at one point, she's like, why don't you get some new clothes? And so Mark's like, all right. And he's trying on some new pants and shirts that Robin are giving. She's like giving him, you know, different shirts and stuff. But he doesn't realize at first the Countess, because like in the reflection you can't see the Countess. And so he is like trying on the pants or taking the pants off or whatever. And she's like, ooh, that looks nice. And then he turns around and he's like, what are you doing here? You know? And
The
then,
appropriate response is to start screaming.
yeah, because there's no reflection, and he notices it too. He's like, does
Even-
like a double take.
Even the way that he just looks in the mirror and then looks away is hilarious. The way he looks back to see her and then looks at himself in the mirror and then looks back again.
Oh, it's so
just funny.
Yeah,
He's got that thing.
He would have been a
Yeah.
terrific silent film actor.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I was going to say, I think I've heard him talk at length about all of the silent films and like,
Yeah, I can see
slapstick
that.
comedy and like
Yeah.
how like you don't need to say anything to be funny.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
like Buster Keaton
Yeah.
is one of my favorite like actors of all time.
And friggin' for me, like Charlie Chaplin, because
Yeah.
I spent like a lot of time watching Charlie Chaplin movies, and he's got that same kind of grace that Jim
Right.
Carrey has. Like their movements are just so like beautifully fluid, and they're just funny.
Yeah.
They're great. They're
One of
So
my
good.
favorite skits from In Living Color was there's
Homie
like
the
two.
Clown.
No, there's two.
Fire
that
Marshal
is a good
Jim?
one.
Oh.
That is also a good one. But there's two reporters and they're just doing the evening news, and in the background, there's Jim Carrey just keeps like sneaking on to the set and doing stuff. And so this woman is trying to get him off, and then the two of them just start doing bits in the background behind them. And my favorite is he comes out in a gorilla costume, and he's carrying her, and he jumps up on top of a desk, and people are throwing paper airplanes past him.
Oh, I saw that. I remember that.
It's funny.
I've heard people talk about like if you go back and like you watch like Gone with the Wind, like you look at that romance and stuff like that, and it's like super cheesy and it doesn't hold up to today's standards. But if you go back and you watch a Buster Keaton or a Charlie Chaplin, that comedy still holds up today.
It's
Like
so
that stuff
good,
is
yeah.
that stuff is still funny, and it's still generations. It's still funny to people.
Yes.
Some of the stunts that Buster Keaton did were like he was like Jackie Chan before
Yes.
Jackie Chan, like
Yeah.
or Tom Cruise, right? Like he was doing these incredible
On the front of trains,
stunts.
hanging
Yeah.
from stuff. Yeah.
So that one thing they did when the front of the house fell down.
Yeah, Steamboat Bill Jr. Yeah.
You realize that if he moved just slightly
inches from death.
Yeah.
to the right, his whole life would have been over.
His like I don't even know like how he was able to walk at like 50 because some of like the physical stuff that he did, like his arm should have been ripped off. Like I don't know if you remember when he's running away and he just grabs onto like the car driving by. He just grabs and it like flies away in the
And
air.
he pulls away. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just incredible, and you're like, that would have ripped anyone's arm
Yeah.
off. Like he must have been like ripped underneath. Like
The jackass of the silent film era.
yeah, he was. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So the Countess visits Mark, and she gets her second bite, and I do love the interaction because Robin can't really hear the Countess like egging Mark on, and he's like, "Get out of here!" She's like, "Okay,
Fine, I will.
I will," and she keeps throwing. She's
From
like,
her
"Oh."
perspective, he came to see her at work and he's being all cutesy and sweet, and then he starts trying on clothes, and then he's being a jerk to her. So, like, what kind of bipolar bullshit is that?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So the Countess
Robin.
gets the second bite, and I love when the Countess is leaving, and we see her
Didn't
just.
she bite off his button again?
Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
bites the buttons
What
off
was
again.
the button budget on this movie?
I'm kind of curious. Why don't we look that up? Google button budget.
I'm on it.
On Once Bitten. That's a lot of buzz. So anyways, we
Alliterative.
see where the Countess is leaving, and I love when she just pushes
got
the
it.
old lady.
$3.56.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Buttons are cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. Okay. So she
That's
just
expensive
pushes.
for the 80s, man.
I know.
Yeah.
It was a bit.
It was a bit. So she pushes that old lady over into
Wait,
the clothes.
Fucking hilarious.
Which it's in my notes.
Yeah.
That's
good.
beyond funny
Yeah.
because
Here-
it's just completely unnecessary.
And I was going to say,
awesome.
here's the thing. You could have made this movie without that, but that makes this movie 10 times better.
Yeah.
Just random ass lady, get the fuck out of my way.
You know what's funny though? An old lady pushed over an old lady, so there's nothing really all that wrong about
okay.
it. Because
She's
about
actually
100,
older, if you
thousands
think
of
about
years
it,
old,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So to her, she actually pushed over a very
A
young lady.
young person. Got it.
That made fucking sense.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So the next
Solid
morning,
logic.
Mark chats with his mother, and he's becoming more and more of a vampire. He's becoming paler, dressing in black.
He looks like Johnny Cash.
Yeah, drinking meat juice for breakfast, which I always love that scene where he like pours himself the orange juice. He's like, "Oh no, I gotta go," and he just drinks like the meat juice.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did the mom put that meat juice in a cup anyway?
Not to
She was
mention,
actually hoping that would happen.
why is
Oh, he did it. I didn't think he'd fall for it.
also why is mom making 2 giant steaks at like 8 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, it was a burger egg.
Oh, steak
egg
and
burgers.
okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's his favorite.
Yeah, that's
Egg
his
burger.
favorite. So,
Egg burger.
and I always love the scene where he scares the kids. Like, so the next scene. Oh, I love that too. When the dad comes home, he's like, I was jogging. He's like, Dad, it's actually pretty bad for your like bones. And he's like, why
bad
do
for
I
your
do
knees.
it then? Yeah, he's like, why do I do this then? Again, love
80s
the dad.
logic.
Yeah. So, so the next scene, Mark is working, and 2 kids on bikes like roll up to buy some ice cream. And so as he's like getting the ice cream, he turns around and he goes,
He
and
hisses at them.
Yeah, hisses at them, and they just take off. They're like, holy shit! And they just run away. And then he's like,
What did I just do that for?
yeah. What
I
did I
like
just
how
do?
he's like startled by his own actions.
By his own
Like,
actions.
You did that.
And there's actually like a pretty cool shot where he like looks into the rear view mirror and he sees like the crucifix from the church, and then
Oh god, this scene.
yeah,
Wait, doesn't see himself though, right?
he does. He sees himself, and then he goes to the confessional, and he's, he reveals
No. We'll
his-
pause for you to cough. Collect
Okay.
yourself. You want a sip? You good? I'm
Yeah.
here for you. You take your time.
Sorry.
There's no rush. I'm filling. See this filibuster right here? I can
Yeah.
talk all day. And you ready? There it
Yep.
is.
So we see where he goes into the confessional of the church and he reveals his whole story. And he thinks it's the priest, but really it's just this drunk guy that he ended up passing on one of the pews. And after he
What
finishes
is wrong
his...
with that guy?
He's got nothing better to
He just
do.
walks into the confessional. He's like, I got this.
Yeah. And
could
he's
be a
like,
priest.
oh, what should I do? And then this guy, he goes, get a shovel. You're deep shit. And I'm like, imagine if a priest said that and you're like,
Yeah, you're going through a dark night of the soul. You're bearing your deepest feelings to someone who you're supposed to be able to trust, and that's the response you get.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that guy just sits there and just waits for people to go in the confessional just to hear, like, the juicy goss. You know what I mean?
The hot goss.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I want to hear what's going on with this guy's life.
Do you remember the priest in Detroit Rock City?
Yeah.
The pervert guy?
Oh, yeah. I would just like, I don't know. I want to see a movie about that guy. So, in
Just
that,
his
Homeless guy? I bet it's very sad.
yeah. That night, Mark has another dream / nightmare where he's a bat and then he turns into
First
a
off-
vampire.
Great bad acting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the dream sequences.
Oh, they look so good.
I love the bat.
The
I
bat
love
looks
the bat
awesome.
so much.
It's like purposely bad looking.
yes.
Yeah.
It
And-
reminds me of Happy Gilmore, the dream sequence in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
With the crocodile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. And I love Jim Carrey looks amazing as a vampire. Because
Yeah.
he's all decked out with like cape and everything.
I have a feeling that he loved it. Like
Yeah.
that day on set, he looked at himself in the mirror and was like, this is fucking great. I'm
Yeah.
going to crush
So
this.
he's got the widow's peak, the cape,
Yeah.
the medallion. You know exactly
Pale
who he's
skin.
supposed to be.
Right. He looks awesome too.
He's
It's like the
awesome.
Halloween costume of Dracula.
Of
Yeah.
Bella specifically, and we were talking about that on Dracula.
Oh,
like
that
how it's
episode of
such-
Frequels that we did a
Yeah,
couple
the
weeks
episode
ago?
of Frequels.
Oh.
Check out our episode featuring El Snow of Dracula. We talk about Dracula, but not Dracula Sucks. That's going to be a brand new episode
Oh, man,
where we
I can't
discuss
wait.
pornography on Frequels.
Woo.
But
That episode's going to be a lot longer.
the second time this was the second time that I'd seen Jim Carrey perform as Dracula, because there was a skit on In Living Color where he was Bram Stoker's Dracula, or so he was
Oh,
like
right.
the Gary Oldman version of Dracula.
With
I
the
need
red
to, I
and
need
white
to watch
hair.
that.
Like the white.
No, he was wearing the top hat, and
Oh,
it was
okay.
a skit with Wanda.
Oh,
yeah, he
my
goes.
gosh.
He gets the wrong house and he tries to attack Wanda.
Oh my god, I can't. I would
watch
love
that.
to see that.
I'll show it to you later.
So he has this nightmare where he turns into the vampire, and he's going to basically Robin's on a bed and he's trying like seducing her, and then goes in for like a bite on Robin, and then he wakes up, and when he wakes up, he heads to the school dance, and for the Halloween hop. But he forgot his costume, so everyone just thinks he's a vampire. They're like,
I feel like he had just watched the music video for This Corrosion by Sisters of Mercy, and
Yeah.
he just wanted to dress like Andrew for that.
yeah, he was
That
like,
is a deep
you know,
cut.
This is me. So,
Look
he,
out, 'cause here I come. All right.
so, to me, right, as far as best school dances in cinema history,
Wow.
this is probably my favorite school dance scene.
Not Idle Hands?
No,
Not High School Musical.
not High School Musical.
Not Grease?
I love Grease, but I don't know. This
Not
is
It's Always
pretty-
Sunny in Philadelphia, the reunion.
That
Oh,
is
that's
much
a good one
better.
too. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Organized, choreographed dancing. Boom.
But we see Mark and Robin dance to Hands Off.
Hands off! Oh, God. What a good friggin' song.
And the Countess shows up,
I
and we
love
have a
that.
dance off between Robin, the Countess, and it's over Mark. And
Did you catch the Blues Brothers who were dancing right next to them?
yeah, well,
There was
all the
also-
costumes were like kind of like there was a Darth Vader.
I was going to
a
say, they
Ghostbuster.
legally cleared Vader.
Yeah, I don't how. You know?
I don't know.
I had so much fun picking out the costumes in the background, like
Yeah.
trying to figure out who everybody was. I'm like, if this was an actual school, so many of these kids would have got dress coded.
Yeah.
Like, nope, you have to go home.
Not to mention they all looked like they were 30.
Yeah.
But
Pinocchio,
I feel like the Lucas Enterprise saw this movie and was like, it's going to cost us too much money to sue these
not
people.
worth it.
It's not worth
Yeah.
it. Just let them have it.
So again, I haven't seen this movie since I was younger, but that song I think about probably once a week. That
What?
Hands Off song.
Do you really?
Yeah, dude, that's in my head more than I care to admit.
Because
That's a good tune.
weekly
so
he
good.
works with me and I'm very handsy.
Oh,
So
that makes
he'll
sense.
literally shout at me
I'll
like,
tell you
hands
just
off.
one last time. And
Those
then, he
hands
doesn't,
are
and then he doesn't listen.
But what
Boy,
a
is
great visual like what a way to tell a story. Like having Mark kind of like these two people battling over Mark's like, you know,
Soul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool like
His
way to
dancing
do
is-
it.
And I
Yeah.
love that during the dance, she bites one of his buttons off. And that's
Yeah.
when Robin realizes, oh, this is
This is the
lady.
button check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what's causing all the weirdness.
And man, like this dance is like iconic. Like I love when he just does the guitar leg.
The guitar leg solo is phenomenal. Then he busts out some Thriller. It's
And-
so good.
Yeah, they do like a little Michael Jackson like
Yeah.
leg kick, and then just the.
He's so
Yeah.
good.
He's so good.
It's so
Um,
80s.
People can't see, but EJ's reenacting the entire dance now.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
So, but
It's the second best dance scene in a movie
really, what's
during
your
the
first?
80s.
Oh, what's your favorite?
Footloose?
Fright Night.
Oh, yeah, that's a great.
Yeah.
That's really good too. But yeah, we see, you know, like them battling over Mark, and what a great song!
It's a dance battle.
Oh,
It's-
and it's so freaking
It's
good.
going to be a positive outcome no matter what.
Robin gets in there and she crushes it.
Oh, so at one point, Robin sees, you know, the Countess is kind of using her hypnotism a little bit.
Yep.
And that's when she's like, oh, I gotta break him out of that. So she, like, rips off the skirt, like her Jack and Jill costume. She rips off the skirt, and then she, like, goes in, and at one point she kisses Mark while the Countess is, like, distracted. Gets Mark, like, back into it. But I also love when the Countess is, like, doing the thing where she's, like Jim Carrey's physical comedy in this is like outstanding. Like just his dancing, when the Countess is like trying to draw him in, and he's like this.
The way
and
that
he's, like,
the way that
back and forth.
he's being pulled in either direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
think
is
it's kinda
so
like
good.
what you said, Rory. It's like battling his inner battle between love and lust.
Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, Robin kisses him.
She settles it with a kiss.
and it
Power
just,
of love, guys.
boom, breaks him out of it, and they go full Thriller on
Yeah.
it. A little Beat It, actually.
Yeah,
I
a little
think
Beat It.
Yeah, and they crush it, and it's an amazing dance scene. If you just could watch it on YouTube,
You
Like,
can.
if
No,
you
you
don't wanna
can.
watch the
Trust
whole
me, I've
movie.
seen it. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
starts pulling off clothes. I'm like, no chaperones at this dance.
Yeah,
Like, at least somebody should have been like, whose mom is that dancing with one of the students?
Because
And,
clearly she's old enough to be a
and
mom.
also, why is there a student taking off clothes? They're clearly unwell.
yeah.
No,
yeah,
it's all
like,
cool.
What the hell's that?
Hey man,
about?
it was the 80s. It was a different time.
You know,
Different
also,
time, man.
talking about the Countess, at this point, she really is just dicking around.
Yeah,
Like, she
Yeah.
really, because she's got, like, super vampire power. She should have just, like, punched him in the stomach, held him down, bit his leg, and ran out of the building. Would have wrapped this movie
send
up.
her henchman and be like, just bring him to my van.
Yeah, what are we
Bring him
doing?
to the limo.
I'm wasting time dancing in front of fucking kids. Like, just, like, hold him down and bite him in the car.
yeah, do what you gotta do.
Just, like, wait till he's sleeping.
man.
Sneak in the
What
room,
the fuck? So
knock him over the head with a mallet, and just bite his
So the
Spiders
Countess
on her thigh.
storms
Get over it.
off, and she pushes over another
No,
person.
Sebastian pushes over somebody dressed like a nun,
Yes, yes,
which I think is Valak's origin story.
right. I think so. So seriously, this is one of my favorite scenes of all time, and I wish more films would do cool dance scenes like this. But
What would you
Organized.
rate that dance sequence, Age?
it's a 10.
Okay.
10 out of 10, but one of the best
Organized
dance scenes of all
choreographed
time.
dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, probably one of my favorite scenes of all time. So they announced the winner of the costume contest, and it's Mark for being a vampire.
Not
It's
a vampire.
It's not a costume.
It's not a costume. So he freaks out, he runs off, and Robin chases after him, and Mark realizes, as he's talking with Robin, his reflection is missing. So he goes, Robin, look. And when she looks, he's back to normal. And then she hugs him again, and then that's when she sees, oh my god, you don't have a reflection.
Because I love she like trying to reassure him.
Right.
She says, "You're right there," and when he looks, not there.
Yeah. And that's when Robin... Oh no. Guys, someone just came and kidnapped Vince, and I'm pretty sure it was the vamps.
Damn it.
Damn it!
Vince has left the building.
Vince, he was just taken, a bunch of vampires came in. Maybe they were listening to this, and is Vince a virgin?
I think he is.
He never like... He's a virgin?
Yeah. I
Oh,
heard
yeah.
his kids are all adopted.
And starving.
Yeah, starving and adopted.
That makes sense.
What a life.
So, anyways, Robin then, she notices that there's a lack of reflection, and she starts to believe, like, maybe the Countess is, like, Mark is right. Like, this Countess is trying to turn Mark into a vampire. So, the next scene, Robin goes to this historian / bookstore clerk.
I have never related to a character more.
Right.
The minute this bookseller starts talking about vampires, so excited, when all she wanted was books, and
Yeah.
he's just starts spilling, like, let me tell you all the lore, and tell me that did not remind you guys of me.
Yeah, I actually, this again is another scene that I just absolutely love, because it's just like, this character goes to a person and he just gives her like the 411. Because anymore, like, movies are like, oh, I'll just go on the internet and find all my answers. But I kind of like
No, you
that.
had to find some weirdo who
Yeah.
had like a niche interest,
Yeah.
and that's me.
He's
Yeah.
waited his whole life for this, just
Yeah.
to have this moment. It all led to this.
Oh, if only he could have been on a podcast.
One day, Alan, like, you should open a bookstore, and hopefully one day someone comes in and they're
It's
like,
either going to be like this situation, or it's going to be that scene from The Craft with that lady who runs like the new agey shop.
Yeah.
Like one of those two things.
yes, yeah, you have to.
Don't limit yourself. It could be both.
So this
Could be
guy,
both.
oh my gosh, do both.
I'm going to fucking dream big. Thank you, Roy.
Dream big.
So
Moving on.
this guy gives her all the 411 on vampires and how the Countess, in theory, stays young because she has to feed on Mark 3 times before All Hallows Eve. And so she's like, oh, okay. So Robin runs off, and she asks Russ and Jamie to check Mark if he was bitten on his inner thigh. And then we get this
I love how they
stupid-
can't say no to her because they're like, yeah, it's our fault because we took him to that stupid bar.
Yeah. Then we get this stupid, unnecessary scene in the showers.
This scene is so disappointing.
It easily could be cut from the film, and it really doesn't matter. It's just like a dumb joke, and like that's not even necessary. And
Warning to anybody considering watching this movie, they use
Yeah.
the F slur a number of times.
yeah, it's aged very, very, very poorly. So later that night, Mark goes to the burger joint, and he's talking with like Russ and Jamie, and he sees that Robin, like, down the parking lot, she gets into the limo, which belongs to the Countess. So he actually chases after it, and he convinces Russ and Jamie to go with him. And so we see where the ice cream truck arrives to the Countess's home. And we see, they break in, boom, Vince. And they find Robin and untie her. And as they're about to get out of there, they get captured by all the vampire cronies and stuff. And
I'm glad Sebastian gave Robin a breakdown of the plot on
Yeah.
their way there.
Yeah.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah, he kind of just tells her everything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there might have been like a scene that they cut out for time or something.
With Robin and Sebastian.
Yeah, because it's real awkward because like when they untie her, she's just kind of like, "Hey, it turns out that you didn't have sex with her.
Yeah,
She wants you because you're a virgin." I'm like, he mentioned that to you?
I think she inferred from what the bookseller told her. That's what I got out of that scene.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But she did say that. Doesn't she say Sebastian told her? Isn't there like a line or something? I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't care. Let's move on.
So they strap Mark down to this ceremonial type of table, and we see, like, they take Mark's pants off, and the Countess, like, opens his leg to, get in there to take the last bite, and that's when Robin and the friends, they kind of, like, break out of the grasp of, like, the other vampires, and the two friends have, like, torches, and they're, like, holding off everybody while Robin kind of like unties Mark and everything, and we see where Robin breaks Mark out of his spell, and I love that Russ and that exchange between Russ and Sebastian. He's like, "One more step and I'll burn your crotch off." He goes, "Ooh, rough trade." And so the Countess tries to lure Mark back under her spell, and it's kind of working, and that's when Robin steps in with the delivery, which I love. She's like, "He doesn't want you, you're old, you're mean. He wants me because I'm nice and pure, so fuck off."
Yeah.
Always love
I
that.
love that line.
So they run off.
Just some really great like.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I love that music.
Yeah, the music in this movie is
Banging.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's so good, especially this because it has like weird little hero moments, and it's so funny because it's like when those moments happen, it's like da-da-da-da-da, like it has like a almost like a Mighty
Like
Mouse kind of
Superman,
yeah.
Mighty Mouse, yeah.
Yeah. So they run off while the vamps are held back by Russ and Jamie, which doesn't last long because one of them blows out the torches, and they're like, "Oh!" And so we see this chase through the entire mansion, which is beautiful, by the way. I love this set, like this house or whatever. So it's just awesome. And they're chasing after Mark and Robin while the female vamps start to seduce Russ and Jamie. So they're finally seeing, some action, and Russ uses his line, and they just like
Take their tops off.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're like, yes.
And that music swells too. It's like
Yeah. So while
like-
this happens,
so stupid.
Robin and Mark lock themselves in the coffin room, and the vamps finally get in.
But
I
go
the
ahead.
line,
I
the
feel
line.
like you're about to say what I'm going to say. Go ahead.
About the door?
Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
No, after
So
you.
good.
You're the
Oh,
guest.
Thank you so much. When they're about to break the door down, she's like, "I have to pay for all of these doors. Try the knob first."
Yeah, he literally punched through the door already,
He like
I-
daintily opens the door.
and I love his like little like smirk,
Sheepishly,
and,
like, okay.
shameful like shrug. It's so good. So Robin and Mark, it's a little too late because they're looking around this coffin room, and all of a sudden one of the coffins starts to rattle, and it's the coffin that was supposed to be Mark's anyways, right? And all of a sudden the lid pops up, and Robin goes, "You're too late," and she's like, "No way it happened that fast." And then Mark gets up. Jim
You've been
Carrey.
there a minute.
Yeah. And Jim Carrey literally has like 2 cigarettes in his mouth.
Like
And he
from The Dream.
Yeah. And he passes one to Robin. And she's like, "But you didn't enjoy it."
But you didn't have time to enjoy it.
Yeah. It's so good. And as this happens,
So stupid.
it's so stupid but
It's so
amazing.
funny, yeah.
And his face is just like, and
Yeah.
he pass. Oh, it's so good. So Robin and they break the curse, right? And so because they boyoyoed Susudioed, the Countess is too late, and she starts to age, and we see Sebastian kind of like usher her out of the room, and she's like, I'll never find a virgin. I'll never find. And he's like, oh, it's okay. We'll find you one.
I love that he's still reassuring her. Like, he's
Yeah.
still 100% confident. He's not, like, repulsed by her appearance or anything. Genuine devotion. Sebastian is the best.
Hands down. And as they exit the room, and all the other vampires, she's like, go, find me a virgin now. So all her cronies kind of, like, run off to go find a virgin. Well, Sebastian is ushering her away, and we see, that Mark and Robin go back at it, and that's the end, and that's how the movie
And he
ends.
says, I've created a monster.
I've created a monster, and then he does, like, the cool coffin close, and it's outstanding. I don't know.
First
Well,
off,
she wanted the first time to be special, so
that's where it
that's
ends.
Yeah.
special.
That's where it ends.
Yeah.
Are his friends dead?
That's what
This continues the tradition of Mark being a shitty friend.
Yeah, so his friends are upstairs with those female vampires.
They were virgins, right? They admitted they had no game, that it was all talk, that they hadn't, because he's like, they're not going to think we're gay. Our reputations speak for ourselves. He's like, we don't have reputations, neither do you. So, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, she could have taken one of those two.
yeah,
It would have been easier prey. They don't have girlfriends fighting
Was
with
that
the
why
power of love.
Sebastian was so confident they'd find virgins? Because
Yeah.
they were two in the house? Like, well, we got him.
It'd have been
my
funny
gosh.
if the movie ended where the Countess went upstairs and saw those two and she just like slapped herself in the forehead like, of course. And the
Yeah.
movie ends.
Yeah. But
Missed opportunity.
missed opportunity. So the movie ends. We don't know the fate of some of the people, but overall, I love this movie. It's definitely like a guilty pleasure movie for me. I feel like I definitely could watch it anytime. I just love it. I don't know. Rory?
Well, first off, I would like to hear young Vince's thoughts.
Oh, he's not here.
He's not here?
No.
Oh.
I think he's dead.
Oh. I think he got baby napped.
I think he did.
Yeah. I saw this movie when I was a kid, and I thought it was delightful as a child. They used to play it on HBO all the time, and my sister and I would watch it whenever it was on. And I always loved vampires, and I thought the ice cream truck was fun. And the movie itself is very fun. It doesn't take itself seriously at all.
Yeah.
Like, the comedy is so silly and sometimes very slapsticky. And it's great. Some of the stuff obviously did not age so hot.
Yeah.
Definitely
that one scene in particular.
Yeah,
I feel like, yeah.
it's a very out of place for sure. But Jim Carrey is wonderful to watch in it, and you
Kieran
can kind of see
Culkin's.
like the beginnings of like a giant movie star.
Yeah.
and he brings it. So I think the movie is a lot of fun. And again, just if you watch it, just be mindful.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what would happen if I took this movie and just like whipped it on to like the grounds of like a college campus and just watch all those kids freak out when they watch it, screaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, it's worth a watch.
I saw this movie for the first time last year, so I don't have the nostalgia aspect
Just
tied
hate.
to it.
Yeah.
Huh?
Just hate for it.
No, I don't hate it. I vampire comedies are different, like they're not taking themselves very seriously here. I wish some of the jokes were like taken out, but like some of the little things in here are what make it really funny. Like the constant pushing over of people that don't need to be.
Yes.
Because their reactions are just so startled and what did I do? I love that. There's a lot of great physical comedy if you like that. If you're a fan of Jim Carrey, you'll probably be a fan of this. It needs to be taken with a grain of salt because it is of its time. But it's fantastically 80s. I love the set designs. I love the costuming, the hair.
Yeah.
Everybody is very, very 80s. And so it's still enjoyable, but I can see why a lot of people might not know about this movie because I can't see it getting a lot of like replay or we're not going to show it on 31 Nights of Halloween.
Right.
We're going to show you parts of the movie.
Yeah.
It's very select parts.
All right. Well, now with those being said, we like to do a thing where we give emojis to rate the movie. Rory, would you like to go first?
I'll give you some emojis. I got a lion, because there's a real good lion actor in this movie. There's some a chicken emoji. Because
Yes.
did you see all them
R.I.P.
chickens? R.I.P. for my fallen chicken friends. Cool bat in this movie as well.
The best bat.
The best bat I've ever seen. You know, it's like that bat that entered Bruce Wayne's room.
I just thought of like
Yeah.
the bat from Batman Forever.
Yeah, that fucking
That
thing.
giant thing. Yeah.
And then I give it a very positive shrugging man.
Okay.
Yeah, because I watched it last night and it still has that 80s charm to it. You know, it's like eating a bag of Doritos.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what this movie is for me.
An L.
I have a burger.
Okay.
I have the female vampire, because there's a female vampire emoji.
Oh, there is.
I have the 2 champagne glasses clinking. I have a washing machine and a drop of blood.
Hey, check and see if there's a button emoji.
A button?
Yeah, I wonder if there's a button. We'll go on each.
All right. I have like 4 or 5 coffins and 2 cigarettes for Robin and Mark at the end. I just love that scene. I love the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
There
a
is not.
phantasm thing.
There's no button emoji, America.
Oh, damn it.
There's all sorts of wacky emojis out there. Why not get us a button so we can make stupid jokes?
Yeah. Freaking assholes.
Fuckers. Anyway.
So, all right, let's get into some plugs. Elle, would you like to go first?
I have a few, so buckle up. First thing, the Dunmore Cemetery Tour. I am performing along with some great other actors in the area. Our artistic director is Julie Esty. Come on September 29th and October 6th at 2 p.m. in the Dunmore Cemetery if you are a fan of local history. Also, hey Blood, did that clown-themed burger stand in the movie make you crave a burger that's not seasoned with a fire extinguisher? Then you should try Three Jacks Burger Bar. They don't have lip-shaped telephones or vampire-sipping champagne, but they do have $3 Jack and Cokes and Casamigos tequila. Try their delicious Burger of the Month creation and order it prepared to your preferred temp, rare or well done. And the fries are so good you'll be telling the fries are so good you'll be telling your friends, hands off. So come on down to Three Jacks. Basics done better.
Yeah.
Love it.
Also, Eastern Tribute Collective, that is the... Thank you.
What?
Who was that? Was that Vince?
It was Vince. We're being watched by Vince.
That was his spirit being channeled from the beyond.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This is horrifying. I feel like we're like in a Saw movie.
I know. It's like, you have your time to play the game.
Hello, EJ.
Hello. Good job.
Hello, EJ.
So, Eastern Tribute Collective, which is the website easterntributecollective.com for my husband's bands. And you know my husband.
Metal Messiah, Jon Snow.
Thank you. He has quite a few shows coming up. You can check either on Facebook or their website. At Quinn's Pins in Middletown, New York on October 25th. Issues is playing with that new metal band. So if you like to see the Eastern Tributes Collective Korn tribute, along with a bunch of other new metal tribute bands, that is the place to be. Also, my last plug. Given the pending litigation, lawyers have advised us to stop plugging Gravediggers. But these damn things are as tasty as they are inedible. So, enter the men's room and knock 4 times on the wall. Not 5, that'll get you shipped. Three Jacks is not legally responsible for any dizziness, vomiting, anal bleeding, hallucinations, persistent headaches, or anal bleeding that may occur from consuming Gravediggers from their bathroom glory hole. So, if you or a loved one suffer from mesothelioma, you probably got it from Gravediggers. Gravediggers, keep them out of your mouth.
I just, I love those Gravediggers.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And
I like them.
And that message explains a lot. Rory, you go ahead.
Depending on how the whole court thing goes, I'll let you know if I like Gravediggers or not. Who will? I would like to plug Ravenview Productions. I have to. It's my production company. It's how you get to listen to these great episodes week to week. And they have all sorts of cool stuff on there, and I have some stuff coming up. So look it up on the Facebook or the YouTube, and maybe I'll start branching out a little bit, get into all that other crap you guys like what's that stupid thing that people waste their time on?
TikTok?
Yeah, that thing. So yeah, then we got nobody listens to the show anymore because of me. Fourth Cut Reviews is a review thing. I'm never able to get this right. It's like a review thing, and he makes videos.
Yeah.
It's our keyboard wielding friend, Chris Conforti. He does stuff on the internet. NEPA Horror Fest is coming up. If you're listening to this episode, I think it's passed already. But
Yeah, I think it was last week.
Yeah, but look it up. They've got other stuff coming up too. Variant Season, in association with Mr. Jon Snow. I saw Jon Snow go up and perform with Variant Season. They were doing some Korn or something. They were doing Linkin Park. That's what it was. And I was clapping along. We already touched on Gravediggers. Not much left to say there. Real Chronicles, friend of the show, Dave Gonzalez. Look up his show. It's fantastic. Bunch of cinephiles just killing it week to week. You'll like their show. They cover everything, like they do like horror, but then they also cover like all areas of film history. And then most important, we got Kitties of an EPA Pet Rescue, the best rescue that ever was. There's cats there. These cats need homes. These cats need pets. You gotta kiss these cats on the snout. You gotta get one and call it your own. That's where I got Ella. I still have to bring up these views so I can start, or followers, so I can start posting photos of Ella. You people have been slacking and not following. And that's on you. And that's all I have.
I love it. Is there any cool things? Like, I heard cats are pretty good hackers. Like, does Ella, does she ever, hack and you get information, like you stealing other people's information?
We live off other people's credit card information. Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't spent a dime of my own money in years. Ever
Good.
since I got that cat.
Yeah.
She didn't fall for the chase fraud, did she?
She did.
Oh, man.
No, she's very cunning. Beautiful
She's
too.
cute. So cute.
Yeah.
She really is.
She's very
She looks like an anime cat.
She
She
does.
doesn't look like a
normal cat.
Yeah,
She's got
she
those
looks
big eyes and
Yeah, she looks almost like cartoonish in a
Yeah.
way. You know what I mean? Like Studio Ghibli based a movie.
yeah.
And
The cat gods spend a little more time on that face.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's it. How about you? Why don't you say something over there?
Well, I would like to plug my friend Adam Farley's music. You can find it on Spotify and iTunes, and check it out. He has amazing tracks. One is dedicated to his son. It's brand new. It's called Carson's Song, and it's emotional but beautiful. Check it out. Make sure to check out Chris Alou's EP on iTunes and Spotify. It's called Songs from the Hallway. It's awesome. It's a very Billy Joel vibe.
Ben
and
Folds 5.
Ben Folds
Whatever
keeps
that is.
folding clothes.
Ben
And
folding clothes.
and
Ben's
then,
folding Derek Phillips clothes.
So you know that new sound, you know that new sound you've been looking for. Well, baby, check out the song "Halloween at Shady View" by the band Kids on Bikes. It's a song my brother wrote, and it's hilariously awesome. My brother plays the bass in the band, so make sure to check out all their songs on Spotify, but especially the song. Let's get it to 10 million downloads and listens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
10
it's
million
good.
and one.
Yeah. And also, check out frequelspodcast.com. It was made by Shanty Hill Design, our good buddy Mike the Vinch.
Friend of the show.
Yeah.
You can listen to him on our one of our last episodes, Friday 13th, the final chapter.
Yeah.
Vinch.
Death Spa.
Yeah.
Death Spa.
Death Spa did Idle Hands.
Idle Hands,
Yeah.
which is an awesome episode too.
He was Vinch-tastic.
Yeah, I would say Vinci.
Is that like a nice Doug reference?
Yeah, I guess.
Vinci. Go ahead.
Vinci. So then Also, he helped us create frequelspodcast.com, where you can find shirts and different types of merchandise. Our episodes are on there. There's pictures. Our
Evidence.
Evidence.
You can actually get caught up on Frequels
Yeah.
on the website. Every time we post an episode, it gets uploaded onto the website.
Yeah.
So go on there.
So go on there, check it out. Also, we have an Instagram and Facebook. You can check that out. And we have like pictures and share stuff there.
More evidence.
More evidence. And then, I don't know. Is there anything else I'm forgetting?
You look like you're going to die, so we should
I
probably
know.
wrap it up.
Yeah.
I feel really terrible because I wasn't feeling the best, but I do not like to miss an episode, so I'm always pushing through.
Well, I
it.
threatened your
He's a
family.
trooper.
Yeah.
Because you're a trooper, not because I threatened your family.
But I do feel like death. I wasn't bitten by a vampire, but it's okay.
We're gonna get him a raw burger. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And don't forget to rate and review this podcast.
Yeah. Don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Give us 5 stars, and you could just trash us in the comments. You could also email us at frequelpodcast.
Yeah, email them and they'll ignore it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, with like enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, have you checked our emails
A
lately?
little bit. Next episode.
Next episode? Okay. Next episode, I think we do have some emails because
Yeah.
people have told me, they're like, hey, I emailed you guys. And I'm like, oh.
I think you should do like a year-end episode and just do all the emails in that
shit,
episode.
we just did it. Fuck.
Yeah.
So why don't, okay, how about we'll do the end of Halloween?
Oh, yeah. The bash
Yeah, our little Halloween.
of neglected letters that you have
Yes.
sent us.
And it's going to be funny because we're going to be answering probably emails from August.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you doing for Halloween? We're like, oh no. We already did
don't
stuff
have
for
answers.
Halloween. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thanks to our guest, El Snow, for always bringing it, for being awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you so much, man.
Thank you for letting me steal your intro.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
And some money.
Yeah. And then thank you guys at home for listening to us and always coming in every single week. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And with that being said, thank you for listening to Another Vampire.
Hands up, get close to me. Hands up. And stop on this recording right now and stop.